The the reality is, I don't think the president should step up and support any additional money to the postal service. I don't think so. I don't know about you guys, but the postal service has never been very reliable, and they're coming with all kind of schemes that will make the uh, mail-in ballot work. I don't think they work at all. I think that if we have had a system where I requested a mail-in ballot or you request a mail-in ballot, but to just flat out mail ballots to people in because they're in the country or because they're in the state, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Hello, it's ridiculous. So eh, why should Trump work with Pelosi and Schumer to undermine the democratic process? If you want to vote, get up and get your fat butt to the poll. Talking about, what did they say? Come on. We need to somehow make it easy for people to vote. I am tired of all the voting schemes here in Chicago. When you go to register to vote, when you go to get your driver's license, they register you to vote. What do? They put a D down when you register. When you ask for an R, they go, "Oh my God, you're a Republican? How can you be a Republican? You're black." But think of all the other people that are out there that have the same experiences. It's incredible. It's incredible. It's incredible. I think that we you go out here and you can register to vote the same day at the poll. I mean, that's the game that these Democrats play. That's what these Democrats do. It's incredible. It's incredible. Hmm. Let me do that. So when we think about it, when you think about that, all you have all these opportunities to vote today, and people still don't vote. What can you say about that? You can say, it's crazy. I remember as a boy, voting day around my house was hectic because, like I said, I remember my dad working uh, afternoons, and I used to hate for my dad to work afternoons because I didn't get to see him. When you get home at 4 or 5 o'clock from school, your dad's not there. Oops, dad's not there. Dad would get home 11, 12 at night. You get up in the morning, dad's in the bed, and it's the same routine. I get to see him at lunch sometimes. I meet him, but hey, the reality is, my father worked all three shifts, midnight, afternoons, and day, and he supported it. He voted. He managed to get out to vote. We can still do the same things today, you know. So that's what we need to do. We need to get people motivated to get out and get their vote done. Get their vote done. Get that vote. If you want to vote, get out and vote. If you don't want to vote, fine. But why should we set it up so that you can steal the vote? Why should we set it up so that anyone can vote that wants to vote, and you can't control them? Okay, it's crazy. We've made too many concessions, I think, for people to vote. Too many. What does that mean? that means that I think Americans who want to vote need to get up and get to the polls and vote. So let's segue to Bernie Sanders, that socialist, and hear what old Bernie had to say about voting. And I'm gonna play this clip real quick. And this is ridiculous. You can see how ridiculous this sounds. And there's something kind of nefarious, in my opinion, about mail-in votes. First of all, how do you know who's getting the vote? How do you know who's getting the ballot? See, that's what they can't justify. Oh, there's nothing wrong with mail-in ballots. How do you know who's getting the ballot? How do you know if Charles Butler actually got the ballot and actually voted? They can't tell us. So let's play this.
On the other hand, we've got reports of sorting machines going away, no more overtime. What are we witnessing here, Senator Sanders? Legitimate reform of the Postal Service or sabotage?
Well, Chuck, what you are witnessing is a president of the United States who is doing everything he can to suppress the vote, make it harder for people to engage in mail-in balloting, at a time when people will be putting their lives on the line by having to go out to a polling station and vote. So what Trump is saying is we're going to do everything we can. And this is not me talking. This is what Trump himself said. Look, I happen to think, as you know, that Trump is a pathological liar. He lies all of the time. But I got to admit that the other day he was very honest. He said, look, we want to kill mail-in balloting. We don't want millions and millions of people to be able to cast their ballots through the mail. So we'll destroy the Postal Service. We'll defund it. They can't vote. I guess that he thinks that a suppressed vote, a lower voter turnout, will work for him and that it will help him win the election. So this is a deliberate effort to defund and destroy the U.S. Postal Service so that people cannot engage in mail-in ballots. That's not Bernie Sanders talking. That's what Donald Trump is telling the American people. And it is an outrage, Chuck.
It's not an outrage, folks. It's not an outrage at all. In fact, I think the president didn't say he was going to destroy the Postal Service or the postal system. What he said was, I'm not going to participate in the fraud. We cannot justify, we cannot verify who these ballots are going to. People move, people get divorced, people die, and mail keeps coming to the same place. You're talking about a fraudulent vote. See, Bernie Sanders does not care about the American way of life. He does not care about the American system of democracy. He's a self-declared socialist. What could tell you anything else and other than this man is against America and a democracy, a republic? See, Bernie Sanders wants to dictate to people what they need to think, and he has his little followers who are morons. I mean, how could anyone elect Bernie Sanders to the U.S. Senate? How does this man legitimately get elected to the U.S. Senate? I mean, can somebody out there explain that? Hey, by the way, our call-in number is 215-867-8255. That's 215-867-8255. We cannot verify who these ballots are going to. More importantly, we can't verify who's sending the ballots back. You're talking about a potential of fraud. There's always the potential of fraud here. I hate it. The question becomes, how do we, as Americans, tell the Congress and the president how we really feel? Because the people I talk to are saying, hey, there is plenty of room for fraud. And, even though they're trying to convince us on TV every day, oh, there's no reason to fear of the fraud. There's no reason to fear that we can't successfully manage the election. They can't manage to deliver your items to you on time, something that they're designed to do. It's amazing. But what I find more amazing is the fact that people even pay these folks any attention. Speaking of attention, though, let me segue into a read. Hey, look, though, for those of you who are out there listening, when we talk about life insurance, when we talk about protecting your family, these are things that are important to you. They're important to your legacy. Give us a call at 312. What's that number? 312. Oh boy, 619. I think it's 9111. I think that's the number. I have to check it. And ask for a quote on some insurance, life insurance. We use life insurance for a lot of different things. You can also use it as a retirement vehicle. We can explain that to you too. So give us a call at 312 667 9111. 312-967-9111. Hey, look, so let's continue this discussion about mail in ballots. Mail in ballots don't work. Mail in ballots set up situations for fraud. And so then let's finish listening to Bernie talk about Trump and how Trump is trying to steal the election and undermine the democracy. Bernie's a socialist. He's already said, I'll undermine the democracy. Here we go.
Campaign is more than health care.
Uh-oh. I don't know what that was all about. That sounded like something from space, huh? Let's see here.
It's more than education.
Oh boy.
More.
I'm going to cut that off. Sorry, Bernie. Yes, I'm just playing this from a little clip I got here. Hold on.
On one hand, the United Democratic leadership is thinking about bringing the House back early to deal directly with this Postal Service crisis. Do you think that's a good idea? And do you want to see Senator Mitch McConnell do the same thing?
Absolutely. No, I think what the Democratic leadership in the House, Nancy Pelosi and others are talking about is exactly right. This, again, is not a debate about the Postal Service alone. That's important. This is about the future of American democracy and whether people have a right to participate. Chuck, just earlier this week, here in Vermont, we had our primaries. We had the largest voter turnout in primaries in Vermont history. Most of the people voted by mail-in ballots. It worked just fine. We could do this in every state in this country. So I would urge Speaker Pelosi to bring back the House. We will do everything that we can to get McConnell.
Well, he can say that, but we know better. He's not going to get everybody back. He's not going to get everybody back. And he's not going to get them back. It's amazing. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. So I'm sitting here thinking about what Bernie Sanders had said, and it just messes me up because we know he's lying. Okay, so look, let's do this. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Cut that off. Cut that off. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't have jack going on. Okay. Okay, we close all that out. Cool. So, Al Sharpton had a message to Donald Trump. And
for this week's memo to Trump.
And this is what he wanted to say in his memo to Trump this week. He says Trump, it was always President Obama, but with President Trump, it's always Trump. So let's listen to what this moron has to say.
I want to talk about cowardice. It's a quality you have in spades, Mr. President.
Well, when Al says that, when Al Sharpton says that the president has cowardice in spades, he should look in the mirror. This is a man who told me that Donald Trump provided seed money for the National Action Network, which is his parent organization. Al Sharpton doesn't have a church. He has a 501c3 that's always in tax trouble until Obama bailed him out. Here we have a guy during the Bush administration who's a banana peel from going to jail, and Barack Obama comes in and he's walking in and out of the White House with his chest out and this little shrunken body, little big head, talking trash. He's going to the White House. Amazing. Amazing how far we've fallen. And this all started with Bill Clinton. The demise of decency in American government. The federal government, I should say. Anyway, Al Sharpton's memo to Trump this week. Let's play it more.
President, and it's reared its ugly head this week when presumptive Democratic nominee Joe Biden named Kamala Harris as his running mate. You and your Republican toadies couldn't decide on a line of attack. She's a mad woman. No, she's calculating and ambitious at controlling Biden's every move. She's soft on crime and somehow also a champion of mass incarceration. Your people even went so far as to try to reanimate the birther lie, implying that Harris, the Oakland-born daughter of immigrants, should somehow be ineligible for the vice presidency. And as for that last bit of grotesque white nationalism, I have two words for you. You wish. You know, she's more popular than you. Go with your tanking approval ratings, that's admittedly a...
Well, this is what I have to say to Al and his assessment of Camilla and how people perceive her. I don't believe the polls one bit. And anyone who survived the 2016 election should know that these people doing the polling don't know their ass from a hole in the ground. If Donald Trump had listened to his consultants, he would not be president of these United States. If he'd gone soft on Hillary Clinton and not hammered Hillary like he did, he would not be president of these United States, much like Mitt Romney. Mitt's toast. Why was Mitt toast? Because he went soft on Obama. You look back at that first debate, he killed Obama. He had Obama looking like a deer in headlights. He had Obama looking like a punched out weather balloon. He looked like a piñata. And then the second and third debates, Romney's saying things like, "Oh yeah, Mr. President, that was wonderful. You did a wonderful job on that." And I'm going, where the hell did this come from? But you have to understand when you listen to Sharpton, this is a guy who celebrated a woman who had voted 4 times for Barack, and she's considered a felon or something like that. I'm going to look it up real quick. But I remember that he had her at National Action Network, and this lady, she'd voted like 4 times for Barack, and they put her in jail. So where's the voter fraud? That's what they want to say. Where is the voter fraud? Well, there's plenty of voter fraud that goes around and intimidation. Like with those Black Panther people outside of the Philadelphia voting booth that time or polling place that time. But that goes unheralded because it's what do you call those people? Democrats. Amazing. I don't know about you, but I'm tired of these folks. I'm tired of them and their nonsense. I'm tired of all of them. And the more I see these people, the more I like flies. That's all I can say. Oh man, Barack Obama. Mm. But let's keep this in context. Let's try to keep this in context. The birther issue. We still didn't get Barack Obama's real birth certificate. It was said that the birth certificate that he submitted as his official birth certificate. Let's just start with the fonts that it was supposed to be issued in. They didn't exist. IBM said they didn't exist in 1960. It's not Charles Butler saying that. It's not Donald Trump saying that. It's IBM. So let's talk about Kamala Harris. Why do these people think that we think that Kamala is special? Why do we think that anyone would embrace a Jamaican and an Indian? I know black people aren't feeling her. I've talked to plenty of black people in the last 2 or 3 days, and none of them, absolutely none of them, they're all Democrats, are feeling Camilla. Why? Because one, she wouldn't give Willie Brown credit for making her. So we know she lying. When she writes a whole book about her life and she doesn't include Willie Brown. Willie Brown's the guy who elevated her because she was his girlfriend. Hello. And when Willie was asked about it, well, Mr. Brown, weren't you married at the time you were dating Senator Harris? Well, yeah, and that's my business. Willie's a bad boy. Willie's a bad boy. Real guy's guy. Real man. Okay. He said, yeah, I was. And what about it? It's between me and my wife. You know, you and your wife, you do what you want to do. Me and my wife, we do what we want to do. Let's see. Andy says, a lot of black people don't care for her either. That's exactly right. They don't care for her. So Andy, you're absolutely right. Exactly. They black folks don't care for her. Camilla is a chameleon, and that's okay. I can handle that. But here's a woman who incarcerated men, a lot of black and brown men. But even when these people were found to be innocent, she suppressed evidence that would have freed them. That's a real ethical issue for me, and one that we need to deal with and not forget and push under the rug. Kamala. Mamala. Oh boy. Here we go again with all these foreigners and their stuff. And they always say, we get ahead of the black people in America because you're stupid. This is your country. We get more in your country than anywhere else. By the way, Harvard got busted for discriminating against Asian students. The Asians are taking over. The Asians are so smart. And the thing about these people when they come here, see, they have real families. They dedicate themselves and their family structure to education, unlike black families, where the mom is trying to be a friend, where they live in these dilapidated neighborhoods. You ever see any Indians living in a slum? I'm talking about East Indians. You ever see any East Indians that live in bad places? They got all the damn Dunkin' Donuts. Between me and Joe Biden, we've surmised that. I don't buy Dunkin' Donuts because Indians own those facilities, and they were the first person to start charging for a second cup of coffee. So I'm done with them. See, McDonald's still doesn't charge you for a second cup of coffee. That's the way it used to be in America. You bought a cup of coffee, you got a refill for free, or 2 or 3. When these Indians we're going to charge you. Oh, hell no. Done. I can't tell you when the last time I had a Dunkin' Donut. I can't tell you when the last time I had some Dunkin' coffee. And yeah, because Indians run those facilities, I don't participate. Not even. Let's see. Manage automatically on hold for review, hidden by Charles Butler. Oh, let's unhold that. Let's unhold that. Okay. Yeah. So as we, kind of matriculate along and listen to Al try to talk about Trump, let's see what else he has to throw the president's way.
Low bar. Still, the instant Harris joined the ticket, she became the most popular person in the race, not only beating out you, Mr. President, but Vice President Mike Pence and even our own running mate, Joe Biden. Even you, Mr. President, recognized her greatness not long ago. You donated to her political campaigns twice, in 2011 and 2013. That you wish you could take that money back now that Kamala Harris is a looming threat to your own power.
Actually, I think he donated 1,000 and 1,300 to her campaigns. It's not a lot of money. If he put a pack together and given her 70, 80,000 bucks, we talking. But $1,000, shit. My ex-wife gave Barack Obama way more money than that, and didn't get anything for it, not even a Christmas card. Go figure. We got Christmas cards every year from the Bushes. Every year, boom, boom, like clockwork. Okay, come on, Al.
Black women are the most reliable voting bloc for Democrats, and they reignited Joe Biden's campaign.
Black women, as black men, are the most unsophisticated political voting bloc on the face of the earth. They vote emotion, not action. They vote emotion, not principle. They vote emotion, not their self-interest, both financially and physically. Why? Because they're Democrats. I'm going to be a Democrat. I'm going to die a Democrat. I'm a Democrat. That's what these people say. I'm just serious. It's unreal. Hey, but look, I'm not going to belabor that point. I'm just going to go back here and finish Al.
This pick will ensure that those black women stay motivated to overcome. Every women are the most.
Okay, those black women. Listen to this.
Reliable voting bloc for Democrats, and they reignited Joe Biden's campaign. This pick will ensure that those black women stay motivated to overcome every voting suppression tactic you try to throw at them to not vote on election day. And Kamala Harris isn't only the first black woman on a major party's presidential ticket, she's also the first Indian American and Asian American person on a major party ticket. Her candidacy resonates among people of color all over this country, Mr.
Now, does he think Indian means Indian like? And then he says, Al is so dumb. You don't know what he's thinking. You certainly can't judge what he's thinking by what he says because he's just such a damn moron. So he's left himself a little wiggle by saying Kamala is a first Asian, first Indian, and then, he as if these things are exclusive. They're not, Al. They're one and the same, actually. But don't tell Al that. You might break his heart. You might get to heaven if you break my heart. Little Dionne Warwick. Anyway, man, I'm just sitting here. It's been a pretty non-eventful weekend. Last night, was the first night that I slept peacefully without that clang, 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 clang from outdoors. And I know I didn't mention much to you guys on the air because I took a bath with some soap and some eggs, and God, it felt so good. God, it felt good. And so I was just kind of, uh, you can't make this stuff up. You know, Kamala Harris. I mean, Camilla. Let's see, Robert. Let's see, Robert watches. Let's see, the Bushes, Merry Christmas, the Obamas, Mr. and Mrs. Who? Oh man, I don't know what that means. The Bushes, Merry Christmas, the Obamas, Mr. and Mrs. Who? Obama. But you kind of sit and watch, and you kind of pay attention to what's going on, and you realize that the Democrats don't have anything to run on. Build a better America. By who? Uh, I'm gonna call Victor back after the show. Got about 15 minutes here, but you go who? What's up? What's up, dudes? You want to have mail-in votes. You don't know where the ballots are coming from. You don't know who the ballots are being mailed to. But this is somehow supposed to be a legitimate vote. And then you have Bernie Sanders talking about delegitimizing democracy. Wait a minute. How can you delegitimize democracy if you don't know who the ballot's going to when you mail them this ballot and who it's coming back from? Hello? Go to the polls and vote, people. Go to the polls and vote. That's why we have POLLS, polls. Get your ass up, get to the polls, get it done. Al, let's see what Al has to say about that.
Mr. President, you are right to be afraid of this coalition because we're coming for your job. And you're not the only one who should be nervous. Kamala Harris is going to absolutely wipe the floor with Mike Pence at the vice presidential debate. Mr. President, I've been amazed these last 4 years at the depths of your cowardice. But up against Kamala Harris, you're right to be afraid. You fear Harris for the same reason you fear America. She contains multitudes. She worked hard for her education and her career and is living proof that while you and your cronies may try to break the American dream beyond recognition, sometimes hard work, empathy, intelligence, and grit can propel a little girl from Oakland all the way to the White House.
That's
We'll
true.
be right back.
That's true. All the way to the White House. Little girl from Oakland. What Kamala say? I was that little girl. That's how old Biden's ass is. 1973, 77. Biden standing on the Senate floor, yelling and screaming about desegregation and busing. Amazing. Oh, man. Hey, but the cops here, I wanted to share this story with you real quick. Cops here in Chicago last night, there were no bells ringing. When they have those bridges up, the bells ring like ding, 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 and they go all night. So, you can't really crack your window. You have to turn the air conditioning to get any sleep because those bells are ding, 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 right? So I'm in the habit of turning on the air. So I turned on the air. It was great. I got some great sleep last night. But the protesters got turned away. They tried to jump on the Dan Ryan, and the local counter protesters said, "No, we're not letting you do this. You're not coming to our neighborhood, stir up stuff, piss the police off, and then the police get us because they're mad at you. No, we ain't letting that happen." So, sent that away, right? I love it. Come back. Now the protesters want to jump on the Dan Ryan. No. We're not letting you shut down Dan Ryan. We're not letting you shake down Lakeshore Drive. And you can walk along the edge, but you can't walk out in these streets. because I don't know if you remember Bo going to Lakeshore Drive, going to the United Center, or you could have come down and been staying at one of the hotels to play Northwestern, one of the local hotels here. But I don't know. But I do know this, that we lost a lot of money here in Chicago in terms of tourist trade, in terms of people staying in hotels. And I think that you're going to find that people are pretty much getting used to this new way of doing business, not going into the office, not jumping on planes, flying across country to meet with someone. I know I like it. I like being able to, zoom in. I love it. You can't beat it. Not with a stick. But yeah, Obama had a lady who voted like 4 or 5 times, man. They locked her up. They locked her up. Black woman. I laughed so damn hard. And people were, so they tried to get her apart, right? Black woman votes. She voted 25 times for Brock. How's that for voter fraud? Hello. Can't help. They see they can't help themselves. That's what gets me about liberals. They can't help themselves. Jump back. Mm. And black women being the most loyal voting bloc to the Democrat Party. It's so stupid. But hey, it's above, like I said, it's above my pay grade. I don't get paid to do that, any of that. My baby don't change. Okay. I'm gonna sit here and go to sleep. It's one of those days. I really want to go to sleep, but I can't because we got about 10 more minutes. Now, earlier today, I was on the phone. I was on the phone, and yesterday I was on the phone calling people. So I called this one gentleman who obviously has an American name. We'll just say it was John Smith. So this lady calls me from his number, and I put in there, put his number in. It comes up John Smith. Okay, I'm like, Mr. Smith, how are you? My name is Simona. Okay, so you don't have a man, Simona? Is that it? I didn't say that. Okay, so I'm wondering how did this chick get in my unit? That's what I'm wondering. Is this some kind of setup? So, long story short, um, I did eventually get on base without too much fanfare. But I went down to I went down to Hyde Park, Kenwood, where we first lived when I moved here. And I tell you, man, we moved into the place. It's so old and gaudy, I just can't take it. I wish I could, but I can't. So I'm on the phone with this lady, and she tells me, like I said, it's an American name, but the lady who calls me is Hispanic. She said, "You call me at this number, and I need to know what you want." I said, "Well," she said, "Do you speak Spanish?" No. Okay. She said, "See, I need someone who speaks Spanish." I said, "Well, I'm not him." So, man, stop the kung fu fighting over there. But I'm just thinking, here, this woman, she calls me back. So I tell her, "Hey, look, I'm going to get someone to call you back who speaks Spanish." Okay. So in the interim, she calls me back and she wants to talk. And I said, "Look, I don't understand what you're saying. So I'll get someone who speaks Spanish to give you a call." So she calls the union, has a union rep call me. And I said she said, this member said you embarrassed her. Well, that pissed me off. And the reason it pisses me off is because you're not supposed to be a U.S. citizen or working in this country unless you can speak and show updation too. Mental height, sweet and nice. Hey, young man, is that your stuff right there? Okay. So she calls the union rep. Union rep calls me. Union rep says to me, "Well, hey, my member told me that you were making fun of her English." I said, "Let me tell you something. Let me be very clear. Referring to how you were treated after donations to their campaigns." Okay. Who can you stand in line and drive for hours? They want in the mail. Well, I don't know. I don't know, but they can hope to. You know, you have to get out there and vote. People need to get up, get in and vote and get out of the booth. It's not a rocket scientist stuff here. You know, you go in, hit the levers, boom, 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 and check boxes, boom, 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 and you're out. So the lady calls back with, I mean, she has her union rep call back. Her union rep says, you know, the member said you were making fun of her English and that she couldn't speak English. I said to her before I knew it, I said, look, let me tell you something. This is an English speaking country. I'm not interested in paying interpreters to deal with people like your member. Your member needs to learn English as a first language, or she should get the hell out of here. It's really what I wanted to say. But I said she should learn English. And I said, so I said, I don't have time to talk to people who don't understand English. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not interested in being a nice person to people who don't speak English and who are here taking Americans' jobs. So I get the old clickola, right? Click. So I'll probably get a big boo here shortly for the way I handle the situation. But hey, what I'm saying, I was just handling. You know, I wasn't trying to be rude. I wasn't trying to be crude. I was just handling. I was trying to get out of a bad situation because I knew she felt bad because I couldn't understand her. But hey, if I went to Mexico, I'd start right now reading my little rags. You know, so when you're out there, stand up for yourself. Stand up for what you believe in. You know, stand up. I'm for standing up for English only in this country. When I, you know, I refuse, if I go to a company and I have to push something for English, like two or three, I'm gone. So, and I would suggest you do the same thing. Stand up for your rights, know your rights. I'm sure I should get some blowback from these union people about being more conciliatory or whatever. I have no idea. Nor could I care less. Not interested. Not interested in their what they think is right. You know, I mean, the Constitution is very clear. There are three lines that you have to read, understand, and speak. And I would bet you 60%, maybe 70%. Oh man, these dudes. So anyway, I'm just thinking, you better pay attention out there. I would. Um, Here in Chicago, Lightfoot has finally stepped up and said, "Hey, enough's enough. We're going to protect the property of citizens. We're going to protect the lives of citizens. And those of you who are out there looting and robbing, guess what? We're going to put you in jail. So, so, so folks are a little upset that they didn't let the looters and robbers go from the other night. They are busting people left and right. Um, why? Because he wants to know who ballots are going to. He wants to make sure that real people are sending in these ballots who actually represent the person whose name is on the ballot. Is that the problem? You can't make this stuff up. So what you should say is, okay, bring your mail-in ballot to this place, and let's match up the ID with the driver's address, the address on the driver's license, the citizen's actual address. See how that works? That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. But that's not going to happen. You know that. Not going to happen. And but those protesters got shut down yesterday. They are mad, and they want to come back with a vengeance. And when we talk about vengeance, what did Nadler say? He didn't believe that Al Qaeda existed. Right. Gotta make it real compared to what? Come on, baby, now. Mm-mm-mm. That's what I gotta say. But hey, we're gonna wind it up. Come back tomorrow with Venucio, Frank Venucio. So we're gonna keep it going. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. See you tomorrow. Don't forget.
Possession is the motivation that is hanging up the goddamn nation. Looks like we always end up in a rut. Everybody now trying to make it real compared to what? Come on, baby. Slaughterhouses are killing hogs, twisted children are killing frogs, poor dumb rednecks rolling logs, tired old ladies kissing the dogs. I hate the human love of that stinking butt. I can't use it, trying to make it real compared to